firstly, big thank you for everyone joining. And again, I know it's a bit of an awkward time zone for some people in America and some people based obviously in the UK. But what I want to do every month is I basically want to just give a real drill down focus on one person's actual business that we're working with. Just like what's the inside, like what's been going on, what's the full overview, because then I guess a few things. One, you can really see it, like you can see the inside of what's actually happening. So all the theory is actually actualized. And then we can also like diagnose and ask like specific questions. So it's going to be like a lot of fun. Give a bit of backstory. So me and Andrew met, dude, when we meet, probably like, God, it was about 2.5 years ago, but it feels about 10 years ago. And me and Andrew met initially at the beginning of the incubator. Yeah, Jesus Christ, or 3 years ago at this stage. And basically, we'll go through today like where his business was at in the beginning, and really what you even focused on in the beginning that was kind of keeping you stuck. And then I want to really go through like what you've achieved right now, like where you are right now with the business, and kind of give a full overview. Sounds good? Awesome. So Andrew, we'll do kind of more like a podcast style, right? So when you first started, where were you at? What were you doing? And then like quick update in terms of like where you are now and what you're focused on now, just for context people.
I think when I came in the incubator, I was still in college. No.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a sophomore in college. I want to say I think I had 2 clients on retainers at about $950 a month. So I was doing like $2K, something absurdly low. We had kind of the mass market SEO for everyone. At that point, I wasn't running ads. It was just SEO, good old website. That was it for $950 a month. Like it was nothing special. I was blind, had no idea what was going on. Like I was about as ignorant as they came. I had read Gap Selling. That's it.
Yeah. Everyone has to read that book. That's the best book in the entire world. Okay, so you had that agency. What was it? So it was mainly service. Was it you doing all the delivery, just for context?
Yeah, it was just me. Purely
no
me.
one else.
Correct.
Awesome. And then where, just for context, where are you now with the business? Like team structure, team size, just like even like revenue wise and stuff.
Yeah. So business, we did over 50 last month. This month, I think we're going to be about the same based on some of these. We have hopefully a 30K PIF starting off next month. So we should easily end next month with about 100K. No questions about it. So that should be pretty simple there. Team size, we have 6 people, excluding myself. 3 on ops, 3 on sales. So pretty evenly distributed. I do very minimal fulfillment, if any at all. It's mostly just call the client, talk them off a ledge kind of type situation. Yeah. And then for sales, I am almost out of closing. I still close, but that's it. Basically team management, working on the business and not in the business. Still a little bit in, but not nearly as much.
Yeah. So again, like they're all like kind of like higher level terms, right? But I guess like you didn't really start like that. Do you get me? Like even now where the business is at, like it wasn't like that initially. And we can kind of draw it out. So let's go back to the very beginning. So the offer specifically, so how did the offer develop over time? We're going to break down like the 3 different kind of major components. And feel free to go into as much detail as you want to.
Okay, so the offers are an interesting one. So there's a couple things that are relatively important. One was I was charging too little, which sounds very counterintuitive. So when I started, I was charging, my first time it was $650, then I went to $950, which is I think when I joined the incubator.
Yeah.
And it was just standard SEO, Google business profile, and that's it. You're streaming your screen, I think, Darren, as well.
Yeah. But you're meant to be able to see my screen.
Oh, okay.
Right,
so
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it was $950 per month, pretty standard SEO, which for context is extremely low, like to the point where our backlinks now cost more than that per month.
Question for you on this, and I know I'm kind of jumping in and out, but would you say because your prices were so low in the agency, you actually weren't signing clients?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. No one took me seriously.
Because like the logic here, just for everyone, is like if it's too low, it's too cheap, right? That's why you walk past the Pound store or the Euro store and no one goes in there. The stuff in the Euro store you buy in Marks and Spencers. That's actually the irony. It's the same shit that's in the Euro store that's in Marks and Spencers, but you paid a higher price in there for no reason. Okay, so it was $950. All right, go ahead.
It was $950 per month. One of the best things that I do with the offer, which sounds counterintuitive, is for a brief stint. I don't recommend doing this long term. I did a pay per result period. And so what this did is it allowed me to sign clients at no risk to them, get a ton of testimonials, get a ton of people who are like, this guy's the shit. And then I used those to leverage them to get bases. So what I always hear from a lot of the guys in ecom is you do 3 months where you do purely paper results. You could do like 500 a month plus then like 150 per lead, which is what I was doing. And what you do is you can pay for the ads, you can pay for whatever, just get them results. It forces you to get stupid good results because you have no other option. I would say that was phase 2 of the offer. After that, we switched back to retainers, but we tripled the price, if not more. So right now our average base is $3,500 a month.
And just for context, people, what's the timeline here? So the first offer was out 2023.
That sounds right. Yeah, probably about there.
2024.
Yep.
Then
now,
before you came into Apex, it was probably lower than 2,500, right? I think we moved that up in January.
Correct. Yeah, it was, I believe, 2,500, and then we bumped it up 1K.
So, okay, this is a really, really, really important. I said this to Ben Melly too. It's like, you actually don't want more clients in a service-based business because it carries more operational drag. You want less clients paying you more that love you, respect you, want to work with you. And that was kind of the model here. So you have a lot of people that were 3,500, and then obviously they went on to spend much more money too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that I like to point out on this is like, if you have a client that's a real, I call it a pain in the ass tax. If they're a real pain, charge them extra like 2K a month. So we have a client that's on a $5,500 a month retainer. They're on the $3,500 a month plan. And I'm like, look, you're like, I'm honest about it. It's like, look, you are a lot more work than other clients. We're going to charge you more.
Yeah.
So you have to be very transparent about that in a service-based business.
The downside is the drag, right? So I guess like Rebecca would know that as well. Just working with clients, it's like, look, the more time they're going to drain from you, but not actually help you. It's different if they have a tough use case, but if they're not going to like help you move forward, then you have to find a way to kind of work your way out of it.
Yeah. Or the other thing is like, when you're running like stage 2, when you're running a pay per result, you can just be like, look, man, I just don't think this is going to work. You're not doing the thing to get the result.
Okay. That's really good. We can talk
That's
about the
other thing. Fire clients. If you don't think they won't get the result, fire them immediately. I literally fired a client on Tuesday because they were not following up leads fast enough. It is that ruthless in a service-based business, especially real estate. So the biggest thing here as well is you can adjust prices, try to do a pay per result, and then transition into more high ticket conventionally. It seems to get a lot of testimonials. At least that's in my case. Like the ones who are on pay per result are still sending referrals because they see the value in it. Go ahead.
How do you get testimonials? Because it's something that even for me, like I'm a bit, lazy on when it comes to that sometimes.
Yeah.
How do you bake that into your process?
Yeah. Some of the easiest ones is Google Business Profiles require reviews. So we train them on how to get reviews from a homeowner. Okay. So the biggest context here is as soon as the close happens, say, I'm going to give you context on a house. So let's say someone closes a home. They're at peak satisfaction about a week after because they've settled in, they've learned. You need to find that peak satisfaction moment. Just be like, hey, do you want to hop on a call? You hop on a call with them. You ask for a review. You say, hey, like, what's your feedback? Whatever, ask for feedback. Ask for the review immediately after because now they feel like they've been listened to. They leave a 5-star review and then you upsell them on the back end. Yeah, really and good. For us, that's about 3 months in. That's why we do, for context on the offer as well, we ask for 3 months up front with a 4th month for free because that gets us to the peak satisfaction at 3 months and we still have a buffer. So we say, you have an additional month. Do you want to credit that to the next offer?
Yeah, this is awesome, dude. This is so, so good. So basically that's the painful incentive, right? It's not a discount, it's an incentive. That's actually what I spoke to Rebecca about as well. It's if they're, well, hold on, question for you. This is going to be important. Do people come in initially on the monthly retainer or do they come in on the 3-month pay in full incentive?
We do about 50-50.
Yeah.
So we do the 3-month incentive just as like this is an option, because it also creates a dichotomy on the sales call. It's no longer an option of do I want to do this or do I not? It's which do I want to do.
Yeah. Awesome.
Which makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. So again, if anyone has coaching, the same equivalent is just basically offering a pay in full and then 1 month extra. We did that for a webinar. We do it for everything. We always do it for everything. And then the other thing is, so if you're doing a split on coaching, you can offer to pay off the balance. So let's just say your coaching's 10K and they paid 5K in the first when they started. Then you can say, hey, if you want to pay off the balance, there's 5K and then we give you an extra month. So like it's always incentive based. That's why I never use the word discount. It's incentive based. So like it's the whole thesis of like rewarding good behavior. Like I don't have children, right? But if you have kids, you like reward good behavior. And it's like a feedback loop. So this is basically the exact same way to approach it with your clients. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Feel free to go deeper on the offer. I don't mean to keep on interrupting you.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. On the offer, there's a couple things. So we have different parts for different. Actually, I'm gonna pull up the Canva doc. Can I stream my screen or no?
Yeah, you can share your screen. That's not true.
Okay, cool. I gotta find it. Give me 1 sec.
You're right.
There's 1,000,001 Canva templates in here.
You shouldn't be on Canva, man. You should be on Figma.
No. This is for, we send this to people. That's why it's on Canva.
So this is like a recording doc.
Yeah.
Got it.
Kind of. So this is the full offer, top to bottom. So we have this handy dandy thing. We call it the CANS framework. It's literally just a sales funnel. It's top, middle, bottom. That's it. It's nothing special. It's just a way for people to say it that kind of attributes back to DMR. So in here, we have the different things that we service. So Google Business Profile, search engine optimization, Google Ads, and then a Performance Max ad, which is just retargeting on the back end. These are the main things that we do. We coach people on these three. Okay. So the important thing here is the reason why we have this document is because I'll pull it up on certain sales calls and be like, this is what we do. This is what you do. Because it creates this situation where they understand that this isn't fully done for you. It's not some magic pill that they can swallow and it'll fix their business. We solve the leads problem and we do some of the nurturing. This is what you still have to do. If you're in a service industry or you're in coaching, it's super important that you get that right, because if you don't, you get unhappy clients. You get clients who are like, this didn't fix my business. And you're like, but it got you the leads, it got you the outcome. We just had two different ideas of what the outcome was, or you didn't do your part. So specifically here, the only thing that really matters for your guys' context is we do lead generation. But that doesn't mean we do everything for them. We don't nurture them. And you need to make that abundantly clear in the offer. Abundantly clear. The other weird part about this is it creates trust. Because they're like, okay, I understand that this isn't magical and you're going to tell me the truth no matter what it is. And most people, especially right now, care more about trust than they do having a perfect offer. So we kind of break all this down, comparing mechanisms, case studies, defining everything, and it's just a full walkthrough of everything that we do. So it might be worth creating this for you guys and sending this to people. It's like a bougie offer doc, if you will.
Yeah, it's just exceptionally clear, right? And like, even for us, we're doing demos right now with some large teams for Aura. And like, I had a call with a sales agency last night and they were like, oh, do you track dialing? And I was so tempted to be like, yeah, we will get it fixed. But it's like, we don't track dialing. Right?
Yeah.
It's just, dialing is so fucking complicated. It's a different beast. And he's like, okay, so you only do like sales call tracking? And I was like, yes. Right? Because then he knows like, okay, this isn't a magic bullet. It's going to help him so far. But it's always the case. It's always the case. It just happens as a lot in Apex too. They're like, will you like actually build a sales team? And it's like, I will coach your sales team, but I cannot actually hire for your specific roles.
Exactly.
So feel free to come off mute, Warwick, if you want to. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Andrew. This document here, is this something you would share on a sales call? You're running through this with the client, or is it something you're sending to them?
Both. So we actually run it as a lead magnet as well, but we will pull it up on a sales document, on a sales call, not necessarily because we need it, but because it just makes it so clear. Like we run you through the first part. They're like, okay, I get it. Like, this is what you do.
Yeah, got it. All right. Thanks, man.
Rebecca?
Hi there, Andrew. Thanks for sharing. That was so helpful. I just had a question. I think that's really great and something to pull together for me. The challenge I'm having at the moment with one client is their outdated hiring beliefs. So they've got this idea in their head that because someone has a short tenure between 1 and 3 years, it means they're job hopping, which is not the case early on in your career. So I'm having trouble shifting that belief through providing data and information from the market as I'm hiring this new role with this new client. Do you think that that first slide that you shared can kind of incorporate like in a way to, I guess, have the client being more open and challenging some of those beliefs initially in kind of talking about, okay, this is what we do, but we also need you to be open-minded, and we come back with data from the market, etc. Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah, it sounds almost like you're trying to, it sounds kind of weird, but you're trying to solve an emotionally rooted idea with statistics. So what you probably want to do is you want to get to the core reason on why they believe it, and then be like, hey, if I offered you X that could potentially show otherwise, would you be open to it? But you need to ask permission for that first before you go ahead and show them this. Because otherwise they're going to see it and they're going to be like, it's going to be like hitting a brick wall.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what's happened.
Yeah. I see that a lot as well. In real estate, so the webinar that I ran today, the big thing is you've been sold a lie. So it's almost the exact same thing here. And in real estate, so it's called your sphere of influence, which is basically everyone you know. And everyone says your sphere of influence is all you need. That's all they've been told. And so there's nothing behind it. It's just an emotionally rooted thing that they were brought up with it. And so the easiest way to get back through that is go, why do you think that? Why do you think that your sphere of influence, or why do you think that job hopping causes this? Because there's something other than that. It could be like a mentor told me this 20 years ago. You just have to be like, so do you think information from 20 years ago can change?
Yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
I think it's definitely a bias for sure. Yeah.
Ali?
Thank you.
Hey Andrew, thank you for sharing all this stuff with us. I just wanted to learn more about how your process of lead generation throughout these couple of years have changed, and how do you, after generating those leads, how do you take them to the call and your conversion process? I want to learn how this process has evolved throughout the years. Thank you.
Okay, lead generation for my agency, for getting clients in for us.
Yes. Okay. No, for yourself and for your business, and then.
Okay, perfect. I just want to clarify on that. So we've done it a couple different ways. So our market is real estate agents. And if you know anything about real estate agents in the US, it's that the average age is almost 60. So they're old. So we run into social media issues of like, most of them aren't on Instagram. If they are, they have it because their kids have it. A lot of them are actually, funnily enough, will sit on LinkedIn if they're commercial real estate agents. So when we started, I was like, okay, we're just going to do Instagram, we're going to do YouTube, and we're good to go. But here's the problem. My ICP wasn't on either of those platforms. So over time, I shifted it, and then I tested LinkedIn. LinkedIn got me a lot more leads. And then YouTube started to do okay, but it's still primarily LinkedIn for lead generation. But then if we want to drive a lot of business, we also have cold calling, basically setters that just dial people. So we do cold traffic, we do LinkedIn, and then right now we're testing a webinar funnel that's doing really, really well. I don't know why, but basically everyone who signed up showed up. So you need to kind of find where your ICP is and just test that. Does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, that's interesting enough. I am a health coach, and my business is around health coaching. And my ICP is actually kind of similar to yours in terms of the age range. It's people in their 40 and 50 years old, and mostly in the 50s. And that's why part of the reason that I decided to be more focused on LinkedIn. But yeah, I've been exploring ideas of doing this, launches or webinars, or even collaboration stages with other creators or other people in the similar space to bring in more leads. But yeah, how do you do that on LinkedIn? I mean, do you run the live sessions there, or do you just DM people?
No, so I make a post about it and then basically link it in my bio because I have premium. They can click on it and sign up. That's all I really do for it. I have an email newsletter on the back end. You should have an email newsletter no matter what you do. That works really, really well. And then for me, I was testing with Facebook ads because Facebook reach organically really sucks, but Facebook ads work like a charm. So we were running those. That seems to work really well. I would say for you, if you're a health coach, just stick to LinkedIn because one, there's super low competition, and B, 95% of people on LinkedIn have money and they're willing to give it to you.
Yeah, and I think, Andrew, this is really good to kind of go from like the offer into the content because it's always going to be the same shit, right? It's like, let's go through like the content system that you have because you've had organic for a long time. And you remember you had like 0 followers? You had, how much followers did you have on LinkedIn? You had 400 on LinkedIn and 0 on Instagram.
Yeah.
Can you go through that journey first? Organic, because organic is great if you don't have cash, right? And then you've got a bit of cash to put into paid.
Okay, LinkedIn is the funniest thing ever. Okay, if you want to go viral on LinkedIn, you want to do the exact opposite of what everyone tells you to do on LinkedIn. So so LinkedIn's a very funny one, and I'll explain everything in just a sec. But LinkedIn, if you do it, you want to go story led, but you don't always want to do business focused. You want to do about 50% business focused and 50% super top of funnel. This is what I did today. Because that's going to get you the organic reach. And then underneath it tells everyone what you actually do. So one of my most viral posts on LinkedIn is me snorting creatine and doing, this is what cocaine is like in real estate. I think I got 32,000 impressions on that post and gained like 400 followers. It is the exact opposite of what you expect on LinkedIn, but it works. So
it's like a Ryan Serhant thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ryan Serhant, like huge company personality, really well respected. Definitely outside of real estate anyway,
Yeah, exactly. Like LinkedIn, you'll do really well on as well for Ali. Just
thank you, man. I mean, currently my impression engagement is decent on LinkedIn. I mean, I get thousands of impressions, sometimes a 3-digit engagement and all that. But the process of probably is that's the case, and I'm hoping to fix that through this incubator program. That the nurture process, or converting them or identifying those ICP, because not a lot of them, from my point of view, from my ICP, are really active on LinkedIn, but they lurk around, they hang around on LinkedIn. But there needs to be a nurture process for me to take them to a private conversation and finally, turn them into clients. Yeah,
I think we'll get to that after the content, which is basically the whole how Andrew binded everything together. So that's why it's like we need to have the volume of the content, which we're going to go through now, and then we're going to have like the sales process basically.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so more on the content, Andrew. So LinkedIn strategy, YouTube strategy. Yeah, let's give it a run through before we go into paid.
Okay, so LinkedIn strategy, my entire strategy is I write every single day what I'm thinking about. Like, that's it. Because this does 2 things for me. It's not necessarily about getting all of the engagement on me for LinkedIn. Like, we're probably fine for leads. Send your 30 connection requests. You'll be good there. And then as long as you're writing good content, so learn to write decent content on LinkedIn and you'll be fine. I really like Lara Costa's open loops. And then also doing an authority hook. So time frame, I helped X achieve X, or I did X, and then some sort of secondary hook. That always does really well for me. And so as long as I'm running that plus good body content, we're good to go. And the secondary process of this is it lets me think about what I'm doing for the day and basically put my thoughts into words. So it's like a mini documentary for myself, or mini notebook. For Instagram, I do a lot more like Nick Setting does, where it's 2 good quality reels every week. Typically it's 1 educational and then 1 from the podcast. So just a clip. And under the clip right now, what I'm doing is I'm just doing comment, the person's name, and then I'll ManyChat you the YouTube video. And then I don't do a CTA on the educational. That's just purely for nurturing. For Instagram as well, I try to run at least 1 lead magnet through my stories every week. At least 1. This can be like, DM me this to get X. And for that, I always do a lead magnet that always lands on a YouTube video. At this point, I basically never do a lead magnet that goes anywhere else. Almost ever. So I send everyone to my YouTube channel. And then my YouTube channel, I just do podcasts, and I did a 4-hour educational on everything that I do. That's actually where this is mainly from. So it's 4 hours, top to bottom, everything that we do explained. And so if you want to get into DMing and kind of that process, that's where we send everyone. We just send everyone to YouTube, because we get super high watch time from the podcast because people will just put it on and listen. That's especially a real estate thing. You're in the car a lot, so people will just put it in audio. And then the other thing is it nurtures them. So after spending like an hour with someone in a podcast, by the time you hop on the phone, you're pretty much ready to buy. You basically just need to give them the price.
And the thing is here, if you don't have a podcast, you don't need a podcast. You just need a long free training, or if you go on a podcast, utilize that. Like some of you guys know, Ryan Moresby, Ryan's next strategy was so dialed, like he didn't have long form, so he went on a bunch of podcasts, and they used that in his like process. Someone would be like, "Hey, like, what do you do?" And he'd be like, "Hey, do you want to watch this podcast?" So it's like you can incorporate long form into your strategy without even having a podcast.
Exactly. As long as it's some way to like listen to you and hear you for over an hour, doesn't really matter.
I'm pretty sure like the number is pretty correct. When Dan Martell was releasing his book, he was doing he got up to 15 podcasts a day. He was going on, and I think he did around 600 in a year. So it's like you don't even need your own channel. You can use other people's channels, like other people's mechanisms, basically.
No, exactly.
And on the paid side, so you got there from motoring, and a big thing here is like, so you started making like decent cash, well, just relatively good money. Then your ICP was dialed, your content was dialed, your organic was dialed. When did you move into paid? What revenue level were you?
A little north of 20. I think it was honestly a little late though.
Okay, good point. Why do you think that was?
We definitely had capital to invest. Like realizing how little it is cost per follower on Instagram. There's no reason we shouldn't have been running follower ads earlier. Zero reason. So for context, followers on Instagram, running a follower ad basically just means what I typically do is the reason why I do the educational is because those are my ads. All I do is boost the posts. And we boost them to a follow. And then what happens is a DM setter comes in on the back end and is like, "Hey, crazy idea. You learned this value. Go to YouTube." And then you just do that over and over again. So you can nurture them in the DMs. And then what you do is once they watch the YouTube video, if they don't do anything, you're like, "Hey, you watched YouTube video. How's that coming?" They'll be like, oh, I didn't do anything. Oh, why is that? And then you can dig into the actual problems. And so that allows us to get either typically on the back end, at the last bit, we were actually just sending them to the webinar, because then we would send them to the webinar and then we could dial all of the leads on the back end. Or you can just book them into a call. It all depends what works best, lead magnet or booked call.
Yeah, or a combination of both, right? It's just like, it's not like one is better than the other. It's just what's topical right now. So when we're running events, we'll kind of, basically like the logic is when you have this shit up and running and you have an organic machine and you're adding some paid, the goal is to book more calls. But if you're running an event or running an online event or in-person event, you can have the next period, 1 to 2 weeks, focus on the event. We didn't even do that in the DMs for our last webinar, though. We actually didn't even change it. Because if people want to book calls, they want to book calls, right? It's like if it causes a bit of friction. It's like, because the whole idea is that when they booked for the webinar, we dial them anyway. And then we just asked them, did you want to just like get your problem solved faster? You know, the positioning was very core for us. It was just like, hey, like you can wait for the webinar and get generalized information, or you can just have a call and we can just help you right now. Like, okay, fine.
We actually had so our sign up page, actually, this will be super useful for you guys. One sec. So yeah, we actually ran our sign up page slightly different than most people. So we ran it like a VSL. But let me stream my screen here.
Yeah, you're sharing your Canva thingy.
Okay, one sec. I'm just going to share my entire screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically VSL, register now. Basically everything that we do, social proof, social proof, social proof, social proof, the backend social proof, and then sign up. So let's just say I sign up here. I register. Process. Thank you for signing up. Check your email. Then we hit apply for a strategy session, so they can book in a strategy session from this. And we found that 1 in 50 people that signed up would just book in. We didn't even have to dial them. And everyone who booked in themselves showed.
Crazy.
So the thing here is it's set to automatically DQ people though. So what happens is if I hit either of these, it'll automatically DQ me. So let's say I hit 0, whatever, CRM website, and then immediately. It'll also DQ them if they say more than an hour. So within 24 hours or any of these, it'll automatically DQ them as well. So I hit submit application. Thanks for your interest. I don't think it's a good fit at this time. And then if they hit, if they get through and they're qualified, congratulations, you're qualified. Link to book in. And if I had hit this after doing it immediately, it would autofill the email name and hit continue. So all I have to do is click a time.
Yeah, nice. That's really good, man. Yeah, that's really good.
That worked really, really well for us. And then the other advantage here is we ran this. Go forward one. So right here, if we go from here, we just sent people to this right after the webinar. So then they had to reapply here. So we didn't get any bookings that weren't qualified. And the other thing is if you look at the disqualified page, it would send them to the YouTube. So it would nurture them more.
Awesome, man. Okay, so you had the follow ads that got you from like 20 to like 40. Then you had the webinar that's got you cranking now. That'll kind of get you from 50 to 100. Let's go through the sales process for the next 15 minutes. So let's go like ground zero, like all the way back to like you taking the calls initially. Like how were you booking the calls? Like off, like, so this is like 2023, 2024. And then I guess like how did you scale up from there?
That was pretty much cold calling. That was me hitting the dialers every day, 100 dials. At that point, I think I was still doing it on this phone. I was just manually dialing people. That was really rough. A lot of people bought from me just because they felt bad. Like when you're a college kid sitting in the dorm, people are like, oh, where are you, like college dorm or whatever? People would buy from you. That once I started getting organic, I found that just subconsciously people trusted me more. I think partially because they Googled me would be my guess. At that point, I had search SEO, so search engine optimization, already going for myself as well. So we get organic books that way. And we had some decent clients come through that way. That probably got me to about 10K.
So one thing to be aware of there is I had a consulting call with someone yesterday who has an e-com coaching program. And he was like, man, like I have an e-com agency ads, and there's like, I can't differentiate myself. And I'm like, this is the reason why you need a brand. Is because if there's 1,000 people doing ads for e-com companies and 1,000 guys selling e-com coaching, well, then you need a brand. Like as Andrew said, snorting the creatine, right? Like that's what the brand is. It's just like, yeah, it's a little bit out there, but like that's kind of part of it too, right? It's like you have a little bit of like rough around the edges. Otherwise, when someone hits your funnel and you're a coach or an agency owner, well, you're the same as everybody else. So the only thing that you can differentiate yourself is on brand. And it's funny, you don't need to be famous. You just need to have like something about you, because it was the same for us, dude. And still to this day, we edit videos in the agency. But why does someone pay 60K a year? It's just because of the brand.
100%. The other thing here is with the brand, you have to have something that makes you personable. Because I see this a lot as well, especially on LinkedIn, I'd say, of guys that are like larger than life, better than everyone else kind of thing. But then you have to have something that's like, oh, like I was you once. That's why you have the I did X, achieved X, as well with Laura's X.
Cool. Awesome. So sales process, dialing, booking calls. How much calls are you booking in the beginning when you're at like 10K?
Maybe one a day. That was rough.
Dude, I think it was for like 2 or 3 a week.
Yeah, it was really bad. Really bad.
Show
rate was terrible.
All from dialing, no DMs, or?
Yeah. At that point, I was so bad in the DMs, I don't think I was booking anyone.
Okay, cool. So what happened next?
Got the podcast straightened out. From the podcast, I started basically throwing that on multiple platforms and DMing followers. That kind of got me decently well. Like I was getting places. Then that's when I think you had Matt Likovich on for the first time. In the Incubator, probably something like that. And I took his advice of just like throw value at people until they eventually book. And that works pretty well. Of like, there are different stages of trust. I think it's called 7 stages of trust now. Mm-hmm. And it was basically just lead magnet, then lead magnet, then lead magnet to podcasts to book. And that was the entire process. It was nothing special. It was very ragtag.
And what were some of the metrics you were hitting? Daily, weekly?
I think we were sending out 5 DMs a day, 30 LinkedIn connections. 5 responses a day. From that, I would probably book a meeting, maybe 2 a day. Honestly, I wasn't tracking as well back then, so I don't even know the exact numbers. It was kind of like throw your finger up in the air and kind of pray.
You were sending 5 DMs and booking 2 calls, surely not?
No. That was responses, sorry.
Responses, so that was your activity, but I mean, what was your outbound, just for context?
I was sending 30 outbound connection requests. About half would connect, I want to say. Something like that. And then from that, I would DM everyone.
Got it. You're sharing your screen, by the way. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's really interesting. What was the DM process like initially? Like, I know it was super shitty, but what was the process you went through, and how did you make it better?
Yeah. Like I said, that was basically just sending lead magnets.
Okay.
Like I would just send lead magnets to people initially. Then I started kind of the gap selling thing.
Yeah.
And I would test openers so I could see which ones were doing best. The one that I found worked really well for me and still does is, hey, so-and-so, how's the market in, and then their specific area.
Yeah. We've used that for years, man.
Yeah.
And
it works really well.
It's an open loop, right? how's everyone coming along with your business? How's your health coaching business happening? How's your SEO business doing? It's less like kind of tacky, it's like kind of weird things that you don't need to say, like kind of like on things that make like things that look really salesy. Does that make sense? You want to keep it much more natural.
Yeah. Like if I get pitch slapped in another LinkedIn DM, I'm just blocking that person.
Yeah.
Like, just don't do that.
How long would you say with DM to booking? Like, do you think the people came back and they would come back like 7 days later or 4 days later? How were you nurturing them and stuff?
I actually, once I started running follower ads, so started getting there, people were booking themselves in effectively as well, because my follower ads were all authority. So I probably had a pretty fast turnaround time on that. I'd say a week. Again, like I'm throwing like I wasn't tracking shit.
Okay. How did you scale it up? So like kind of when you went from like kind of being doing it as an amateur versus kind of going pro with it.
I just A/B tested everything. Like I wish I could say like there was some magical theory, but it was just A/B testing and then you ranting at me that this is a terrible idea. I shouldn't do this. That worked really well. Yeah.
So what was it you were doing that wasn't working? Like what was some things we had to cut?
Okay, so a lot of them ended up being, actually, I can probably pull up a couple. Let's check my Instagram. But a lot of them were things like me sending, hey, do you want to book in a meeting this time? Too early. That was probably the earliest one. Or trying to book them in on Instagram. Those two cooked me. LinkedIn, if I said, hey, do you want to hop on a meeting? Legitimately, like, just stopped. You have to be like, hey, can you solve X? We can help you solve X pain point. When does 15 minutes work so that I can show you that?
Yeah, the position.
You have to tie it to something.
Yeah, it's question. From everything you told me, we can definitely help you. Would you like to see how I can help you? Are you open to let me know? And then you're like, yeah, I want to know how I can solve my problem. And it's like, okay, there's this thing called like a call. We hop on a call. We walk through it. Like
yes,
you need the language is so important.
100%. Because the other thing is if you're like, hey, let's just like hop on a call, it just tells everyone like scam or like you don't know what you're doing. You have to, there always has to be more pain. Think of like the DMs, and from what I've seen, it's like just discovery on a sales call. That's all it is. It's like, okay, so you told me about like the market's erratic. Like, why is the market erratic? Like, why do you perceive it that way? They give you a blurb. Oh, okay, like, why is this? It's all mirroring their language.
Cool, man. Okay, so let's go through. Well, it's funny because the webinar we ran last week was about that. It was about the DM is the sales call, just in chat. It's the same thing in terms of the discovery process, and then you just don't do any like pitching on a call on a DM. That's when it comes into the call, So that's the only differentiation you need to learn is that. Let's just look how you scale that up. So when did you start bringing in a sales team?
Ooh,
I think you're like 23K.
A year ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago, but I think you're 3K, something like that.
Yeah, something around there. Honestly, getting in the sales team was probably the hardest part of this. Hands down, bar none. I had so many setters. It's not even funny.
Okay, go start to finish. Go like the full thing. I want to hear the full breakdown.
Okay. Okay, so I first started bringing people in for setting, at which point, like, I had the operations team pretty good, and I was good at coaching operations. But bringing in a salesperson whose ego is super high was just not vibing. So at first I started with that and I'm like, no, like you need to do it this way, which then like, of course, two heads hitting doesn't go well. They get mad at you and quit. Shocker. Second stage, brought someone in, learned my lesson. Okay, we need to be a little bit more gentle. Okay, we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. Quit because I ramped them too fast and they burnt out. Started them off. They were fully ramped by end of week 1. Don't do that. Ramp them by end of week 2 because they need to learn so they start getting a feedback loop. Burnt out and quit. Third mistake. I hired someone from Thailand. For context, my offer is in the US. Don't hire someone who has a 12-hour difference in time zone. Number 4. I finally got someone in who's somewhat decent. I'm not even going to get into the Clint one, by the way. Darren, is that even worth getting into?
No, it's not. But it's funny though, 'cause you learned your lessons. That's why it's like, if most people don't learn their lesson, right, with this stuff. So that's the most important part.
The thesis of the story here is you will learn your lesson. It just might hurt a little. No, so burned through a bunch of setters. I finally got someone in. By the end of the second week, he was booking calls like this. And that's when you know you got it. When it just clicks. It's like chew glass, chew glass, chew glass, book, call, close. It's the same process, just with finding the right person on the team.
So the analogy here, you need to cast a wide enough net, right? Like you need to have a big recruitment pool always, like no matter what the role is. It's like trying to find like your wife or your partner in your hometown. It's like the pool is so small that they're more than likely not going to be there. Whereas if the pool is bigger, like New York, whatever, you just have more choices. So if your talent pool is super small for an editor, VA, anything, like no wonder it didn't work out because you interviewed the first person and hired the first person you met.
Bingo. The other thing with setters is just a little thing here is Safi. He is your best friend. Everyone else is cool, but Safi's better. That might be a hot take. I don't know if Darren, but I really like Safi. But yeah, I brought setter in. His name is Faz. He's still with us. He was booking, I think he was doing 500 dials a day and booking 3 to 4 meetings within 2 weeks. Awesome. And he just has maintained that pace ever since. And we put him on webinar leads. About 10% of the leads that he calls books. So 1 in 10 dials that he makes, someone books. That's awesome. That's what you're kind of looking for in a setter. But you just have to keep training it and keep training them and keep training them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good, man. So good. 500 dials a day is incredible. And it's so possible too. That's a funny thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his second month he made 9K. Second month.
Wow. Crazy, dude. Okay, so how many setters do you have now? And what's your sales team like now?
So I have 3 setters. I am taking 1 and I'm training him to be a closer, not because I don't like him as a setter, but because I think he's going to be a better closer. And I'm willing to take that gamble. Because in all honesty, 3 setters is too many right now. We only need 1 closer and 2 setters. Otherwise, our ops team is going to burn out, which I'm currently hiring for as well. So
yeah, you probably need a more scalable offer, man.
Correct. So I can get into that, but we're actually working on that right now, making it more scalable.
Nice.
2 setters, 1 closer. Closer should be fully ramped by January. He's still at the point where he's still in the puppy training stage. Right now he has probably about a 20% close rate. It's not great, but I'm also putting him on the tough leads, so can't complain too much.
Awesome. Cool, dude. All right, that's awesome. Any questions, guys, on this? Just feel free to come off. Sales process oriented. Anything from you, Ali, that came up? Go ahead, man.
Okay. Warwick, go ahead, man. I'll go after you.
Yeah, sorry, just a super short question. Just on, you said you went through 100 setters, which is wild. But how are you finding the setters? Where are you sourcing them from?
Safi. And I wouldn't say it was quite 100, but it was definitely about a dozen. So
sorry, what is Safi? I don't know what Safi is. What is that?
They're all like partners that we have. They're all like sales organizations that we hire from.
Oh,
but you can also hire them through LinkedIn and stuff. You know what I mean? I do a lot of external hiring as well.
Okay. Can I go now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. About that, LinkedIn, because the process that Andrew mentioned was really similar to what I'm doing at the moment. I send connection requests to, not blindly, to those who I know that are kind of interested in the health topics and all that stuff and close to my ICP profile. And then once they accept, about 50% or maybe a little bit 40-50% then accept, I send them a DM. But in the open DM, you mentioned that things like, okay, how's your business going? This is more, it seems more casual than asking someone how's your health going, or how's your weight going, or how's your blood sugar going. So I was wondering, what would you suggest, or give me a tip about the opener, because I think now that I'm doing more volume on that, I think it's good to improve the quality of that. I know there might be some triggers that I can leverage in their profile or anything, but in general, since most of the people, they are not really active on LinkedIn, not posting a lot, they just like a few things here and there. What would you do? What would you suggest I do the opener?
What specifically is your offer? I know it's kind of health coaching, but what specifically for who?
For people in the age of between 40 to 50, who are had like a health scare, like a diagnosis or maybe a heart attack or something like that, that they want to fix that, or they are on long-term prescriptions or medication, and they want to reverse that through their lifestyle without adding more prescription or more limitation to their lives.
Okay. What works really well for real estate is like, how's the market, which is super, super casual. I don't know how you make that specifically casual, because you can't be like, how's the gym going, without context, or like, how's working out going without context.
I would tie it back to their initial, like, you're targeting people who are entrepreneurs, CEOs, founders, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, hey, so you're like, CEO of XYZ company. Like, how are you guys like progressed? What are your goals for 2026 or something like that? Like, what are you planning on next? Where are you in your business right now? And then they'll come back and say, hey, we're trying to grow X, Y, I'm trying to do X, Y, Z. It's like, amazing, man. How are you managing that and balancing that with all your life right now? And that's when we kind of pull in the health component. So we fixate on what they need and what they want, which is what they want to do is grow their business, or progress in their career. And then we switch it then to our offer, to our niche. Because even for us, like, if we're connected with someone and they have a real estate offer, I'm not going to be like, hey, like, how's the market? I'm just going to be like, hey, so you have a real estate agency right now. Are you guys like currently trying to scale it or whatever? And then I'll bring it back to the basics then of, okay, like, where the constraints are, what you have. Because like, at the end of the day, Ali and everyone, you're trying to find a constraint that person has from progressing with your mechanism, which is health.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I have a similar thing in place, but I think I need to optimize that and make it more casual. Just like you mentioned, casual is a keyword here.
Yeah, casual and just a bit more like specific. Like, I'll give an example. Like, I checked the DM yesterday. It was like we sent a DM yesterday. The woman was like a yoga teacher. She ran events. So we just said specifically like, hey, saw you're in like the event space. Do you have an event planned for 2026? And then she comes back and said, yeah, I got 2 events planned. It's like, amazing. Like, how are you going to get clients for those events? Oh, we do X, Y, Z. And then like we have an angle, we have a wedge. So it's like we talk to what does that person do. And I think for you, Ali, it's good to kind of narrow down on who do you want to work with that values their health. Now I know everyone should value their health, but selling to an entrepreneur a health offer is super straightforward, right? Like it's very, very, I take like fucking 50 supplements a day, right? Because it allows me to sleep better, reduce my stress, make more money, all that kind of shit. But maybe to someone who's in a job, it's less actualized, right? Because they're like, oh, I only get paid a salary no matter what I do.
It also lets you charge more. There's that as well. If you're niche, there's a premium associated with that.
Yeah, I pay so much money for my blood. So I get my bloods done basically every 6 weeks, and it costs so much money. And it's because it's convenient, it's done in my office. I know I'm going to get the right biomarkers, and then my doctor and coach will review everything. So it's like, go where the money is at, or go where the priority is at.